Friday is 1% of 1%, regardless.
Right.
The amount of people in politics or who follow politics closely who are Democrats, who were immediately willing to say rigged, bias.
Yeah.
That's exactly how Donald Trump reacts to everything.
It is.
You are literally adopting
as bad as
him.
Trump. Yeah.
It's remarkable. It's like, can you hear yourself?
And, I don't want to sit here and say I told you so, but this is exactly what I feared with a second Trump term, is that there'd be a group of Democrats who will now say, oh, he's changed the rules. Let's play by his rules now. And you're like, no. I mean, look, go ahead and do it, but don't be surprised when voters sort of decide, man, you guys are too.
Yep.
And you guys aren't serious about the democracy.
It is the Martha Zoller show. But it's important here what the message is that we got to stop this. Who is doing what? Okay? And so if they do it, we're going to do it. Whether it's redistricting, whether it's voting rights, whatever it is, if they do it, we're going to do it. Now, I don't buy this guy's premise that Donald Trump called all of this. I totally do not buy this guy's premise. But I do think that there is a little bit of they did it to us, so we're going to do it to them. And then we do it. They did it to us, so we're going to do it to them. And where does it end? Where is the leadership? Okay, so I'm going to make a little bit of a different case than what we've seen in a while. There are a number of things that have happened since the visit of the king, which he's got his own problems, man. They just lost a bunch. His government, which he's not political, but his government, Labor, lost a bunch of seats, and now they're calling for the prime minister to resign. But the king has to go, I think, tomorrow or the next day to make a speech in Parliament that's supposed to represent the agenda of the government, which is now Labor, but may not be in a few weeks. So do you make that speech, even though it might change in a couple of weeks? Or what do you do? So there's a lot going on over there, too. But since the king's visit, the president has been in a pretty positive place. I think he's been communicating well. He's been putting things out there. He's been looking at things more openly, and he's had to talk about more stuff. And I think he's done I think overall he's done a very good job. But I think there are times when he gets off track. And I do think that this Iran war, while I support us going in, if I were the person, and I would love to know what General Kane's advice was, did he say don't give them a ceasefire because they're just going to abuse it? Because that's what they've done. We gave them a ceasefire because President Trump basically wants peace. He wants people to prosper and have good economies and go to work. That's what Donald Trump wants. Donald Trump wants people to be free and peaceful and be able to do their work. That's what they want. And he has been taken advantage by a couple of people, not many people, but it looks like this new Iranian government, and I'm saying new Iranian government because it's pretty much all new people, got a little bit of a breather in this ceasefire. And that as a result of that, now they're emboldened. They think that we're weak. And I think that, unfortunately, folks, be prepared for this. Okay, one of two things is going to happen. He's going to go to China, and you heard Senator Scott talk about that. He doesn't trust this idea at all. Senator Scott does not. But he's going to go to China, meaning the president's going to go to China, and because Xi has been pressured enough, because they like things to be copacetic. Okay, if you really look at it, China doesn't go to war that much. They just, with numbers, take over. Okay? Not in modern history, not since the revolution. Okay? Or they just exude great force, and then it squashes it right off the bat, right? And, of course, you heard Senator Scott talk about this hostage that we're trying to get out. That would be a great thing for us to be able to do. He was the publisher of a paper in Hong Kong. But we've got this situation where one of two things is going to happen. One is you're going to go Donald Trump, and he's going to go to China, and he's going to be able to get China to exert pressure on Iran to get them to back down. Now, that might work if the Iranian government were reasonable, but I don't think they are. But that would be the better path because it would be the less violent path for now. With Iran, you always got to say for now. But what the other thing that I think you got to be prepared for is that they're going to go all in. There's going to be, you heard Jack Keane, who is the senior military analyst for Fox News, has said, look, we tried. You always want to try diplomacy, but they're basically spitting in our face. And we knew it Friday night because they were supposed to answer by Friday. But because they feel like they have, when I say they, I mean Iran, they feel like they have the upper hand. And so they didn't do it on Friday. They made us wait until Sunday because they think they're in charge now. They think they're in charge now, and we need to be prepared for that. And President Trump needs to look himself in the mirror and say, okay, they played me in this particular situation, but now I know. Now I know that we didn't push them hard enough. And then we've got to unleash Israel because they know where all these people are. Unleash Israel to do commando. I don't think this has to be big boots on the ground. And again, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying this is the spot we're in today. This is the spot we're in today. And this is what we're probably going to have to do. I say unleash Israel to be able to go after all the people they know and do their thing. And then we go in with special forces and precision strikes because we don't want to blow up their infrastructure because we want the people to be able to rise up and reinstall a free government. That's what we want. And the only way we're going to do that is with a little military backup from us. Now, the biggest thing, though, and I said this yesterday, and you're going to think I'm all over the place, but this is complicated. We got to make sure we do this in a way that we didn't ask for the people of our country to sacrifice by paying higher gas prices for nothing. I was talking to my daughter last night, and we got into the conversation about how when my parents got married, they had to pool their coupons with all their neighbors because they were rationing stuff. Okay, we don't allow rationing anymore. And what do I mean by that is I saw a presentation at Rotary Club yesterday with the Georgia Ports Authority where he used 2 or 3 examples of stuff that gets shipped through the port because we want to have oranges even when oranges aren't growing, and we want to have strawberries even when strawberries aren't growing. We don't ration stuff anymore in America. And I don't think we would. And that was one thing we were talking about is if we were asked today to make the kind of sacrifices that people had to make in World War II, would we do it? I've complained that President Bush did not ask us to sacrifice after 9/11. I think he should have. Okay, but he wanted the economy to go on the way it should. But that's the question, folks. 770-535-2911. Would we sacrifice in that way? We'll be back.